Let me tell you something honestly. Come a little closer. Are you listening? Because what I'm about to say might shake some of the beliefs people have been holding for years. Millions of people around the world are turning to Islam, and most people think they know the reason. They say it's culture. They say it's pressure. They say it's politics. But let me tell you something powerful. People don't change their entire lives for pressure. People don't wake up at dawn, discipline their hearts, change their habits, and rebuild their character because someone forced them. No, something deeper is happening. What's really happening is that people are searching for truth in a world full of noise. Look around. We live in a world with more technology than ever before, yet more anxiety than ever before, more entertainment but less peace, more followers but more loneliness. And when people start asking the real questions, why am I here? What is my purpose? Who created this universe? What happens after I die? They begin searching. And many of them open the Quran for the first time, and what they find isn't what they expected. They find clarity, they find discipline, they find a direct connection with God without intermediaries. They find a message that says, every human being is equal. Your worth is not your wealth, your race, or your status. Your worth is your character, your actions, and your sincerity. And that shakes people. Because in a world that constantly tells you to chase fame, chase money, chase validation, Islam says something different. It says, chase purpose, chase the one who created you. And when people discover that message, something inside them wakes up. They start praying. They start reflecting. They start becoming better versions of themselves. Not perfect, stronger, more disciplined, more grateful, more aware that life is bigger than just this temporary world. So when people ask, why are millions turning to Islam? It's not because of pressure. It's not because of trends. It's because in a world full of confusion, people are finally finding clarity. And when a human heart finds truth, it changes everything. Look around the world for a moment. People have more things than ever before. Phones in their hands, endless entertainment, millions of videos, constant noise. Yet deep inside, something still feels empty. Many people wake up every day, go to work, scroll through their screens, laugh for a moment, and then suddenly feel a strange question rising in their hearts. Is this really all there is to life? That question is powerful. It is quiet, but it is strong enough to shake a person's entire life. Human beings were never created to live only for eating, sleeping, working, and repeating the same routine until the end. Deep inside every person there is a hunger that no money can satisfy and no entertainment can silence. It is a hunger for meaning. It is the desire to know why we are here and what our life truly stands for. Many people try to fill that emptiness with success. They chase bigger houses, better cars, more followers, more fame. For a moment it feels exciting. For a moment it feels like victory. But sooner or later the excitement fades and that same quiet question returns again. Why am I here? Some people try to escape that question by keeping themselves constantly busy. They run from one activity to another. They distract their minds with endless content and noise. But the truth is simple and powerful. A distracted heart can still feel lost. And when a person begins to feel lost, something incredible happens. They start searching. They start reading. They start listening. They start questioning the world around them. Suddenly, the things that once seemed normal no longer feel enough. The idea that life is just a random accident begins to feel incomplete. The heart starts demanding something deeper, something stronger, something that actually makes sense. This is the moment when many people begin a journey they never expected. They begin looking for truth. Not the kind of truth that changes every year. Not opinions that shift with trends and popularity. They want something solid, something that stands firm even when the world is confused. Because deep down, every human being wants direction. A life without direction feels like a ship lost in the ocean. It moves, but it has no destination. It travels, but it never truly arrives anywhere. People are tired of that feeling. They want to know that their life matters. They want to know that their struggles are not meaningless. They want to know that every act of kindness, every sacrifice, every moment of patience actually has purpose. And when a person begins to think this way, their heart becomes open. Open to learning, open to reflection, open to discovering something greater than themselves. This search is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful moments in a person's life. Because the moment a human being begins searching for meaning, they are no longer asleep in the routine of the world. They are awake. They are thinking. They are asking the questions that change destinies. History has shown something again and again. The greatest transformations in human life begin with a simple question inside the heart. Not a loud question shouted to the world, but a quiet one whispered to the soul. Why am I here? And when a person refuses to ignore that question, when they begin chasing the answer with sincerity and courage, they often discover something life-changing. They discover that life is not random. They discover that existence has purpose. And when a heart finally touches real purpose, everything changes. Human beings are not just searching for money, success, or comfort. Deep inside every heart, there is a quiet question that never disappears. A question that follows people no matter how rich they become, no matter how famous they get, no matter how busy life becomes. That question is simple but heavy. What is the truth? Why am I here? Who created all of this? For many people, life feels confusing because they hear too many different answers. One person says truth is this. Another person says truth is something else. Some people say life has no purpose at all. When a human mind keeps hearing different voices, it becomes tired, it becomes lost. And when a heart feels lost for too long, it begins searching for something clear, something that does not change every few years. This is where many people discover Islam. When someone begins to learn about Islam, the first thing they notice is how clear and direct the message is. There is no maze of complicated ideas. There is no confusion about who deserves worship. The message is simple, powerful, and strong. There is only one creator who made the universe, the earth, the sky, and every human soul. That creator knows everything about us. He knows our struggles, our fears, our hopes, and our dreams. For many people, this clarity feels like a light turning on inside their minds. Think about it. In a world full of endless noise, endless opinions, and endless arguments, people are suddenly hearing a message that speaks with confidence and calm strength. It tells them that life is not random. It tells them that every human being was created with purpose. It reminds them that their life has meaning beyond money, beyond status, beyond temporary success. And something powerful begins to happen. When people realize that their life has purpose, their mindset begins to change. They begin to walk differently. They begin to think differently. They begin to see their actions differently. Suddenly, every moment matters. Every decision matters. Every good action carries weight. Islam gives people a clear direction. It tells them that kindness matters. Honesty matters. Respect matters. Helping others matters. These are not just nice ideas. They become part of a powerful system that shapes the way a person lives every single day. And when someone starts living with that kind of clarity, something incredible happens inside the heart. The heart becomes stronger, the mind becomes calmer. The soul begins to feel peace. Because confusion is heavy, but clarity is powerful. Confusion drains people, but purpose energizes people. When a person knows who they are, who created them, and why they exist, life suddenly feels more meaningful. This is why many people who discover Islam describe the experience as finding something they were searching for their entire lives without even realizing it. It feels like a missing piece, finally falling into place. The questions that once felt overwhelming begin to make sense. The chaos of life begins to feel more organized. And in a world where so many people feel lost, tired, and uncertain about the future, that kind of clarity becomes incredibly powerful. Because when the truth speaks clearly to the human heart, the heart listens. Let me tell you something powerful that many people in this world are beginning to understand. Deep inside every human heart, there is a desire to connect with the one who created them. People may chase success, fame, money, or recognition, But sooner or later, there comes a quiet moment when the heart asks a deeper question. Is there something greater than all of this? And when that question appears, the human soul begins a journey. One of the most beautiful things people discover in Islam is that the path to God is not complicated. It is not hidden behind a system of powerful people, special classes, or complicated rituals that only a few can perform. It is simple, direct, and open for every single human being on earth. In Islam, a person speaks to God directly. Think about that for a moment. You do not need permission from anyone. You do not need a special place. You do not need a perfect life. You can be standing alone in your room, sitting quietly at night, walking under the sky, or even struggling with problems in your life. At any moment, you can raise your hand, whisper a prayer, and speak directly to the creator of the universe. That idea alone shakes many people when they first understand it. Because in a world where everything seems controlled by systems, rules, and barriers, Islam reminds people that the door to God has never been closed. It has always been open. No human stands between you and your Creator. No organization controls your connection with Him. Your relationship with God is personal, real, and alive. And when people start practicing this connection through prayer, something powerful begins to change inside them. 5 times a day, they pause from the noise of the world. The busy life slows down. The phones stop. The distractions fade. And for a few moments, they stand humbly before the one who created the stars, the oceans, the mountains, and their own beating heart. This moment is not just a ritual, it is a reset for the soul. It reminds a person that no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is always a higher power who sees everything, hears everything, and understands every struggle hidden inside the heart. This direct connection gives people strength when life becomes heavy. When someone feels lost, they turn to God. When someone feels grateful, they thank God. When someone feels weak, they ask God for strength. And something incredible happens through this process. The human heart becomes stronger, calmer, and more focused. People begin to realize that they are not alone in this universe. They are not just drifting through life without purpose. They are seen, they are heard, they are guided. This kind of connection gives a person dignity and power. It teaches them that their worth does not come from how many people admire them, how much money they own, or how popular they are. They see discrimination, arrogance, and injustice everywhere, and they feel tired of it. They feel the weight of a world that constantly judges people based on surface-level differences. Islam challenges that mindset. It calls people to rise above arrogance and ego. It calls them to build a society where kindness, justice, and integrity become the true signs of greatness. In such a vision, the strongest person is not the one who dominates others, but the one who controls their anger. The greatest person is not the one with the biggest bank account, but the one with the most sincere heart. The most honored person is not the one with the loudest voice, but the one who lives with honesty, humility, and courage. When people hear this message, it shakes them. Because it offers something rare in today's world, a system of values that lifts human dignity above material success. And when people realize that their worth comes from who they are inside, not from what they own or how they look, they begin to walk through life with a different kind of confidence. Not arrogance, but quiet strength. The strength of knowing that every human being carries dignity. And that true greatness is measured not by power over others, but by the goodness you bring into their lives. In today's world, many people feel lost even though they appear busy. Every day is filled with work, social media, noise, and endless distraction. People wake up, rush through their day, and go to sleep feeling tired but not fulfilled. Deep inside, many hearts are asking the same question: what is the real purpose of my life? When life has no clear direction, even success can feel empty. Money, fame, and comfort cannot fully satisfy the human soul. What people truly need is discipline and a meaningful purpose that guides their life. When someone begins to understand the teachings of Islam, they often discover something powerful that they were missing before: structure and direction. Life is no longer random or meaningless. Every day becomes meaningful. Every action can carry purpose. A person begins to realize that life is not just about surviving or chasing temporary pleasures. Life is about becoming a better human being and live awareness of the one who created everything. Discipline is one of the most powerful forces that can transform a person. Many people want success, peace, and strength, but they struggle because they lack discipline. Without discipline, goals remain dreams. Without discipline, people become slaves to their habits and emotions. But when a person builds discipline, everything starts to change. Their mind becomes stronger. Their character becomes stronger. Their life becomes focused. Islam introduces a rhythm to life that builds this strength. A person begins to organize their day with moments of reflection, prayer, and awareness. These moments remind them that life is bigger than stress, bigger than competition, and bigger than temporary struggles. When someone pauses during the day to reconnect with their Creator, it brings calmness to the heart and clarity to the mind. It reminds them that they are not alone and that their life has meaning. This discipline slowly shapes a person into someone who is more patient, more grateful, and more focused. They learn to control anger instead of being controlled by it. They learn to resist harmful habits and replace them with better ones. They begin to value honesty, kindness, and responsibility. These small daily actions slowly build a powerful character. Purpose also gives people incredible strength during difficult times. Life will always include challenges. There will be moments of loss, disappointment, and struggle. But when a person believes their life has a higher purpose, they do not break easily. They stand stronger. They become resilient. They understand that every hardship can be a test that helps them grow, become wiser, and become closer to the truth. Many people today are searching for motivation in books, speeches, and online videos. But real motivation is not just excitement for a few minutes. Real motivation is a deep belief that your life matters and that every good action has value. When someone lives with that belief, they wake up every day with energy and direction. They stop wasting their life on things that destroy their time and focus. Slowly, they begin to build a life that is meaningful. Their actions become intentional. Their goals become clearer. Their heart becomes calmer. They stop chasing the approval of people and begin focusing on becoming the best version of themselves. When discipline and purpose come together, a human being becomes unstoppable. They become someone who walks through life with confidence, patience, and strength. They understand that their time on this earth is precious, and they choose to live it with awareness, integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility. And that transformation, from confusion to clarity, from weakness to strength, from emptiness to purpose, is something that changes everything. We are living in a time where the world has never been louder, yet people have never felt more confused. Everywhere you look, there are voices telling you what to believe, how to live, what success looks like, and what happiness should be. Social media, news, entertainment, influencers, everyone has an opinion. Everyone is speaking, but very few people are actually helping hearts find peace. A person can scroll for hours, watch thousands of videos, hear millions of opinions, and still go to bed feeling empty inside. Why? Because information is not the same as direction. Noise is not the same as truth. And popularity is not the same as purpose. Deep inside every human being, there's a question that refuses to stay silent. It is the question of meaning. Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? What happens after this life ends? Money cannot answer that question. Fame cannot answer that question. Even success cannot answer that question. A person may achieve everything the world celebrates and still feel like something important is missing. This is where clarity becomes powerful. When a human being finally hears a message that speaks directly to the soul, something inside them begins to wake up. The confusion starts to fade. The endless chasing starts to slow down. The heart begins to understand that life is not just about collecting things, impressing people, or competing with others. True clarity reminds a person that life has a purpose far greater than temporary pleasure. It teaches every human being was created with intention, dignity, and responsibility. It shows that the universe is not random chaos, but a creation with order, meaning, and wisdom behind it. When people discover a belief system that explains life with simplicity and strength, it can feel like a light turning on in a dark room. Suddenly, the big questions are not terrifying anymore. They become guiding lights. Instead of wandering through life without direction, a person begins to walk with confidence and awareness. Clarity also brings discipline. It teaches that real strength is not just physical power or public recognition. Real strength is controlling your actions, your words, and your character. It is waking up with purpose. It is living each day knowing that every decision matters. Every act of kindness matters. Every moment of honesty matters. In a world that constantly pushes people to compare themselves with others, clarity reminds a person that their true value is not measured by followers, wealth, or status. A person's true value is measured by their sincerity, their patience, their gratitude, and their effort to become better every day. This kind of understanding transforms people from the inside out. They begin to care less about temporary applause and more about meaningful living. They begin to focus on improving their hearts, their intention, and their actions. Instead of being lost in endless distractions, they begin to move through life with direction and calmness. And that is something incredibly powerful. Because when a human heart finds clarity in the middle of chaos, it becomes unshakable. The storms of the world may still come. Challenges will still appear, but the person no longer feels lost. They know who they are. They know why they are here. And they know that their life is part of something far greater than the noise of the world. That kind of clarity does not just change thoughts, it changes lives. So in the end, the real story is not about numbers. It is not about statistics or headlines. The real story is about hearts waking up. In a world that is full of confusion, distraction, and endless noise, people are searching for something real. They are searching for something that gives them direction, strength, and purpose. And when a person finally finds clarity, it feels like a heavy fog has lifted from their life. They begin to walk differently. They begin to think differently. They begin to live with meaning instead of just surviving day by day. Because when a human being understands their purpose, they stop chasing everything that shines and start chasing what truly matters. They stop living only for the moment and start living for something greater than themselves. And that is the power of clarity. When the heart finds truth, it becomes stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and stronger than the pressure of the world. So the real question is not why millions are turning towards something that gives them purpose. The real question is this: in a world full of noise and confusion, are we brave enough to search for the truth that gives our lives meaning?